First things first, DXY dollar. So I've been pretty bearish on this one. Of course, really big move to the downside last week. And I do expect more of the same. Of course, retracements and pullbacks, I'm expecting that as well. But in terms of the bigger move there for the dollar, I'm looking at price coming back into this region around 101, 100.5 in the next maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks. Depends how long we spend having a bit of a pullback. But with momentum we saw last week, there's a good chance we do end up at that level. So my plan is very much just focusing on shorting the dollar. So any opportunity I'm looking at regarding USD is looking to short USD. Of course, at the moment, the market's had a big drop, so it's a bit overextended. So I'm not really interested about selling the market right now. I do want to see a bit of a retracement before I do think about looking to short the dollar. And of course, a few areas I'm keeping a close eye on. I do originally like this area here because that's the level we broke through. And I hadn't really seen a retest of. So a retest of that area would be great. But because it's so far away, I don't think price is going to pull back all that way to retest that level before continuing. So there's a couple of areas I'm looking at besides that level there. I'm also looking at this level here at 105.5. This is a bit more reasonable. We can probably see a retracement there. And this level here is well a bit more of a minor level. But this one probably has the highest probability of actually seeing a retracement. Not the most significant level you ever see, but judging momentum and how price is looking, it's probably a realistic expectation for us to pull back, test 104.5, and perhaps to see the continuation. If we do see a bigger pullback, great. My preferred level would be 105.6 up here. That would be my preferred area for a pullback. But like I said, there's so much momentum in the market. We may not see enough juice to the upside to actually reach that level. But you can see it's a healthy pullback, more or less coming to the 50 of the fib there. There's a healthy pullback for the market. But yeah, let's see if the dollar will give us that. At the moment, we are still looking pretty bearish. We just took out the lows this morning, but we are becoming a bit more corrective. You can see we are losing momentum here. So as this continues, I do think a pullback will happen pretty soon. Of course, if you can compare the price action we had last week, bearish candle after bearish candle, now we're seeing a little bit more wicks, a bit more consolidation. So things are becoming a bit more tiresome, and perhaps a pullback is around the corner there for the dollar. In terms of Euro USD, pretty much the exact same analysis, just flipped pretty much. Again, you can see we're becoming a bit more corrective now. So again, a sign that Euro is running out a bit of steam, or perhaps we are going to go for a bit of a pullback at some stage. But again, I'm not really interested in the shorts. I understand people will be looking to try and short Euro because it's had a really big move. It's coming back into an area of supply here on the left. I think this was from the US elections back in November. We had a really big drop to the downside, and finally price is now back at that area. And given the fact that we are pretty stretched, pretty overextended, there's a good chance we could see a reaction and a move down. So I understand looking to short Euro, but based on my analysis, I do expect the bigger move for Euro to be still to be to the upside. So that's the area, that's the level, that's the direction I want to be looking to trade towards, which is back at these prices here. 1.11 we'll call it. So I do still see more upside for Euro. For me, I'm more interested in trying to catch that pullback, wherever that higher low will form, and looking to swing it back to 1.11, or at least the swing high, wherever that forms. But that's the trade I'm interested in. Again, for Euro, there's a couple of areas I'm looking at for the longs, this low here, and also this area here. Also just the resistance there on the left at 1.06. That would be a nice area for a pullback. There's also this area down here, which would be a nice place for a buy. But again, I just don't see price having a deeper pullback as that. So again, for Euro, if I whip out the old Fibonacci from the low to the high, you can see we've got lovely confluence down here. So again, that would be my preferred area for a long for Euro. If we could see a pullback to this area, 1.06 roughly, that would be my preferred area for a long. But again, will we have a pullback that big? Roughly, from the high there, we're talking about a 300 pip pullback there for Euro USD. So that's a pretty big move in itself. Also, in terms of the timing as well, it would take a while for us unless we see some heavy momentum like that, like we saw last week. It's probably going to take a while for us to get there. So that's why I'm also looking at 1.076 as we might only see something like that. But we'll see how as things develop for euro. For now, still pretty bullish and expecting a big swing back to 1.11. Pound USD, I also like this one as well. This one hasn't been as bullish as euro, but still looking pretty much just as good, to be honest. I really like the price action. We've got a really nice area of confluence below us. We've got the prior high dragging that across. That will be turn support. And just joining up these price swing lows with a lovely trend line. We've got some confluence in this area around 1.27. Nice psychological level there as well. So what I'm seeing for pound USD is that we had a big sell and things look like we've got a bit of a V-shaped price action here. So impulse down, impulse back up, kind of giving us that V-shape formation, which tends to signal more upside to follow. So that's another reason why I'm expecting pound USD to keep pushing. And possibly we could see pound to push all the way back to the highs up there if we are going to see a full swing and a full continuation of this bullish leg here. This could be a pullback of that, and perhaps we're seeing another continuation. So I'm very, very bullish on pound, of course, very bearish on the USD currency itself. So that adds to my bias as well. Now it's just about waiting for price to come to me to find some entries and take some trades. As I said, 1.27 is really my area of confluence. So kind of waiting to see if we can get there. Looks like pound USD is moving sideways. So we're struggling to make some new highs right now. Perhaps price is getting ready for a pullback. We'll wait and see. I'm not really interested in trying to short pound to try and capitalize on the pullback. That's not really my trade. I'm more focused on the longs there. So that's where my focus is personally. Dollar CAD still in this position from last week. Hasn't been moving great. It's been all over the place, but hasn't invalidated the trade. My stop loss is still above the high over there. Target's still at the low. So I'm just going to let the trade do its thing. It's either going to eventually take out the resistance and hit my stop loss, or it's going to eventually roll into profit. I'm still very bearish on the USD side of things as well. So I'm expecting dollar CAD to see some downside. Dollar CAD's the only USD pair which hasn't really seen much downside, which of course is due to CAD being weak as well. But I'm expecting CAD to eventually find some strength because it's been so weak. I'm expecting that to eventually find some strength and a bit of a bounce, similar to USD to an extent. But I am still looking for a bit of a move to the downside for dollar CAD. If we go to the weekly chart, you can see where we're trading massive resistance on the weekly time frame, once, twice, and potentially a third time. And you can see prior tests have given us really big reactions. So at least expecting a bit of a move down for dollar CAD. So yeah, I was going to hold on to that trade and see what happens. Like I said, if you're looking for entries for this one, I think the best place is if we get a double top. That way you can put a stop loss, probably similar to where mine is. Maybe you get a better entry and then look for a swing, either to the lows here or to that low there. It's up to you. In terms of finding a safe place for an entry and a stop loss, I would wait for price to push close to the highs there so I can get stop loss above that swing high, because any stop losses in here are a little bit vulnerable. Dollar CAD's kind of a bit rangy right now. But yeah, still bearish, still looking for a swing back to 1.415. In terms of Aussie dollar, pretty bullish on this one, expecting a lot more upside as well, but it's been a little bit choppy to trade. I did say if I'm looking to get involved in Aussie dollar, it's because we've created some new highs, because at the moment, this is pretty much a range, to be honest. There's no kind of consistency to the market structure. It looks like we're forming a bit of a bottom here. But in terms of finding a trade, I do want there to be some bullish structure, which I'm looking to trade, which is push, pull back, need another push to create some new highs past this point. And then once I see that happen, I can look for some pullbacks again and retest of a low somewhere and look for some longs. Because again, if I go to the weekly chart, Aussie dollar is trading some really pivotal support, which could give us a pretty big move to the upside. And of course, me being very bearish on USD as well, that kind of helps add to my bias of why I'm expecting Aussie dollar to push higher. Just there's no real opportunity to actually buy this one. Not trading at any area of significance. No kind of safe place for a stop loss either. So staying put with Aussie dollar, but I am expecting price to pick up the pace to the upside. Same situation with USD as well. Very, very flat pair, as we can see for the past few weeks here. Just pretty much a range here, but again, looks like price from a bit of a bottom. Taking into consideration where we're trading, massive support here on the weekly chart as well. As you can see, one bounce there, second bounce there, perhaps a third one. So again, could see a bit of a relief there for USD. And if we are going to push to the upside, waiting for structure to follow suit, so something like this, and I can find some longs, perhaps in the retest of the high. But the key thing is I need to see a break of structure and some new highs. That way I can look to actually find a higher low in relation to the bullish structure and then trade that. But at the moment, like I said, don't have that yet. Price is still pretty much flat. So waiting for us to push to the upside first, make that move, and then I can look to follow that momentum shortly afterwards. In terms of gold, so gold, we had a bit of momentum to the downside, but I didn't really add too much. I said keep an eye on the breaks of the range here for gold, because if we do break to the downside, there's a good chance we could push to the lows. We did see a kind of a half-hearted breakout. You can see the wicks there. Not really a good sign. Didn't really see much momentum. And the key sign was the following, well, not the following, the one after the following, for our candle which closed back inside the range. It looks like we've got a bit of a fake out to the downside here for gold, and perhaps we're going to use that to potentially fund the move to the upside now, possibly back to the highs here at 29.54. So in terms of opportunities, you could either try and anticipate the fake out and wait for price to close back in and look to buy there, or wait for price to now break the high of the range and then look to find some pullbacks afterwards. Probably more in the 15-minute time frame you're looking for entries there. This is the hourly chart. But yeah, that does look like a bit of a fake out there for gold. Failed momentum. Price is now back within the range. If you can clear the highs, then there's a good chance price is going to push back to the all-time highs at 29.55, 54, and possibly some higher highs as well. But generally speaking, gold is still relatively a bullish market. So if you're looking for longs, you're in a good area, a good climate to do that, because naturally speaking, gold is still very much an uptrend in the higher time frame. So you do have that confidence to your trade. But in terms of actually a setup for gold, I'll still wait for us to break the highs, then look for some retests. But yeah, I would expect us to push back to the highs there if we can see a successful retest. And then for silver, silver's still very much in an awkward situation. Looking bullish as well this morning, but again, not too sure is price respecting this level or breaking through. It's a little bit of a awkward one. Again, if price can show me clear signs of breaking through this level here at 32.1, then I'm looking for a swing back to the high here, and things become relatively simple. So looking for pullbacks, a retest of a high somewhere, and then longs back to the high. Or if price is well and truly respecting this level, then I do think we can see a bit of a swing back to the downside and probably test those lows there at 28.82. So really, it's make or break at this level. If we're going to break through, then expecting the highs there. If you're going to respect the level, there's a good way we can turn around. But like I said, there's a lot of bullish momentum. If gold's going to break to the upside, they probably will drag silver with it. So if that's the case, then I do want to see something like this happen. And then, yeah, I'll look for some pullbacks, perhaps a retest of the high, depends how we look. But hypothetically, that could be a situation I take. And yeah, we'll be looking to see if I can take silver back to 34.8.